Hello, chat. Hi, how are you guys today? So, we've got a lot of fun stuff tonight, and it all comes from one document, and it is the transcript from this much talked about and vaunted ex parte hearing that Judge Glanville held in the Young Thug trial. And for those of you guys who are new, I am Sean, also known as potentially criminal. I am a defense attorney in the Cleveland area, and tonight we're going to talk about what's going on in Young Thug's case. Young Thug is a rapper down in Atlanta. You might as well know it's Atlanta. Him and the rest of his merry band of artists are facing a RICO case by the Fulton County District Attorney. Yes, Fannie Willis. Yep, that same Fannie Willis. That same Fulton County. Now, what they allege is that Young Thug's record label, YSL Records, operated as a street gang engaged in murder, prostitution, drug dealing, and all kinds of other organized crime. The trial, these guys have been in jail for over 2 years now. Their trial started last January. In jury selection, it was in January 2023. And it took them 11 months to pick a jury. You heard that right, 11 months for the multiple defendants. And as of yesterday, we reached day 100. The trial started January 4th. Yes. We're only at day 100. We're over 180 days into the year. So yes, this trial has been a dumpster fire. It has had multiple issues, and a lot of them come back to focus on Judge Ural Glanville. Ural Glanville, not Earl, Ural. And as things have progressed with this trial, one of the associates of the YSL gang, guy named Kenneth Copeland, also known as Lil Woody, was set to testify. Lil Woody pled the fifth. He was then immunized by the state. He then refused to testify and spent the weekend in jail. From there, an ex parte hearing was held, meaning the defense was not involved in a private session with the judge, Lil Woody, and the prosecutors. Young Thug's attorney brought this up, and that snowballed into the contempt saga that we saw play out about 2 weeks ago. So that's where we are. In a bit of good news, the mandamus motions and motions to recuse that were filed, Judge Glanville has finally pawned those off and sent them to another judge. I think pressure has been mounting, and people have finally been getting through to him that you're not doing this right. But we'll see what happens. In the meantime, we are going to look at the transcript of this hearing. I haven't really had the chance to look at it, so you're going to get my first impressions of this as well. But based on what we know, a lot of unethical and probably illegal conduct occurred there. And let's take a look at it. All right, 224 people here, guys. Thanks. Thanks for all of that. Yes, there was not a writ of Matt Damon. It was not a writ of Matt Damon. Real quick, Otto gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Otto. And EDW Raptor gifted 5 memberships as well. Thank you. Thank you both, guys. Then there were a couple. Why did these super chats did not work? Roscoe Coltrane says, thanks for the laugh and trolling Reverend McCann. Well, the man trolls himself. And it's funny, prattling on about lawyers when, in the biblical sense, he's one of those lawyers. But what do I know? EDW Raptor says, all night, chat. No, not all night. Not all night. Not all night. All right, so here we go. Judge Glanville released the transcripts, and now nobody's complaining. So I have a feeling this is actually an accurate transcript. Some of you might say, well, how do we know? because some of the people involved have not complained and said it's not a correct recitation of the after things. So the date is July 1st, 7:45 p.m. So this was filed yesterday. And it's the state of Georgia versus Marquavius Huey, DeMonte Kendrick, also known as Yak Gotti, Rodalius Ryan, Shannon Stillwell, and then Jeffrey Williams, also known as Young Thug. You may have heard of him. So this is the transcript of the ex parte hearing held in the chambers of the Honorable Ural Glanville on June 10th, 2024. So it's the thing we've heard about. And this is very common in transcript. Christina Weaver, she's a registered court reporter. This is all her information. This is all where you find her. This is her address. And then if you need to contact her. So this right here tells you it's a certified transcript. This shows you that it's done by a professionally trained person. Marquavius, not Queefius. That's shame. Just stop it with those names. You guys are ridiculous. So we're gonna get going here. We're gonna get going. Guys, I don't know when the Nick body cams are coming out. Sometime. Who knows? We're all waiting on them. Noel's asked for him. He's done what he can. So just calm down. It'll be there at some point. Let me missing is J Rock. JSD says, please tell us at what point in the transcript mistrial and mistrial of prejudice would happen. Okay, already. Mistrial of prejudice. I would argue definitely a mistrial. Remember, guys, this Young Thug's trial is DOA. They're going through the motions right now. This trial is dead already. So, I need to send one more thing out here. We might have a guest joining us. If he's still awake. And guys, in the meantime, if you want to see Young Thug on a day-to-day basis, I would highly recommend watching Nick Starro. He's been thugging it up. He's been doing Young Thug since day one. And he's been with it all 100, well, at this point now, well over 100 days, but all 100 days of trial. He's been with it. He's been hanging in there. So if you guys want to see it, he's been there from the start. And he knows the entire case that's been presented so far, front to back. So the appearance of counsel on behalf of the state, Adrian Love, Simone Hilton, the assistant district attorneys. On behalf of Kenneth Copeland, Kayla Bumpus, attorney at law, which she has a Twitter account now, which is pretty fire. So this right here is just the basic information. The hearing began at 9:10 a.m. Now, if you remember in the motions that Brian Steele filed, while this is happening at 9:10 a.m., the defendants and their attorneys are just sitting in the courtroom wondering, like, where the hell is everybody? Nobody told them. In the chambers were the judge, the assistant district attorneys, Adrian Love, and attorney Kayla Bumpus, the court reporter, Christina Weaver, and then investigators. Investigators are from the district attorney's office. So basically, they're detectives, Antonio Long and Rashid Hamilton. So there's two cops in there, investigators, detectives, not court security, detectives. So it starts off with the court reporter says, I'm okay, ready whenever you are. And this is not like the Karen Reed court reporter where she's talking in a steno mask. This is the one that was typing away outside. Now she says the concern we wanted to bring to the court's attention as the state was twofold. One, We wanted to have the opportunity to press upon Mr. Copeland with representation present. Remember, that's critical. At least they've done that part right. Kenneth Copeland has the right to have an attorney present, and they cannot speak to him without an attorney present. So they got at least that ethical issue done. Don't talk to a represented party. They want to talk to him when he faces, and we wanted to give him an opportunity to ask whatever questions he wanted to ask before he was we had to pull him in the courtroom when the jury came out. The second concern that I have is, and I wanted to bring to the court's attention in line with the concern that I expressed on the record on Friday, I don't know what advice counsel may have offered or may be offering. That is their right and their business. As it relates to testifying, however, I do not believe that criminal exposure is concerned. That is which interest is being spoken about and protected. Now, this is where, and you guys have heard her, Adrienne Love is the one who keeps talking shit about everybody in the Young Thug trial. She's also the one, anytime you point out she's done something wrong, she goes, well, this is an ad hominem attack. And it's like, you don't know what the fuck ad hominem means. Mr. Melnick is the prior, Mr. Melnick is Kenneth Copeland's attorney. He was not available on Monday, so Kayla Bumpus is filling in. So you're going to see the name Melnick repeatedly. Melnick relayed to Ms. Hilton on Friday that he had never heard of the statute 24-5-507. And on Friday, he sent an email. I don't know if he intentionally copied Mr. Steele and Mr. Shart. I don't know if he unintentionally put my name on it, but he sent an email to Mr. Steele and Mr. Shart with me and Simone copied where he said, this is the communication that I received from Miss Love regarding Mr. Copeland. Now, what she said in this email was, and this is where she's asking Lil Woody's attorney, whose interest are you protecting, yours or Mr. Steele's? Which clients are you protecting? Whose client, yours or Mr. Steele's and Mr. Shart's? Now, she's accusing this right here. She says, whose interest are you protecting? She's alleging he's not representing Kenneth Copeland's interest, alleging that he's representing Young Thug's interest. And then he wrote back and said, you are going to get him killed. You are making him a target. Fuck you. And it's true. You are going to he's telling the prosecutor, you are going to get this guy killed. You have made him a target. Fuck you. I think it's a very appropriate response. So given that his concern is that by testifying, at least the one he conveyed to me in writing, his concern has nothing to do with exposure from the state. Well, the attorney's a concern. That's not necessarily Lil Woody's concern. His exposure, he's worried about getting killed. Well, he's probably also worried about getting prosecuted. But remember, this is only the attorney talking, not the actual defendant. And the judge says his being whose concern. And she says, Mr. Melnick. If the interest that he is protecting Mr. Copeland's freedom, he did not convey it by asking us, what exposure does he face in testifying? In fact, if he's concerned that testifying will get Copeland killed and he's not communicating with us, he's communicating with counsel for defendants, it would seem that he knows a thing or something that we don't know. Now notice, she's talking all this shit while that guy's not there. That is not cool. All she's doing is running her mouth about this attorney. Yeah. Additionally, I will let Miss Bumpus tell you, he has said if Mr. Copeland testifies, he's no longer representing Mr. Copeland. And she says, which is strange, because if your interest is your client, then it would seem you want to be there for him while he's testifying. Yes. So it sounds like you're lying, Adrienne Love. And then the judge says, well, he's on vacation this week. And she says, I understand. That is why Caleb Bumpus is here. And he has said what he has said. And I really do think this reeks of the state setting this up that way and orchestrating the problem. Um, That way, Kenneth Copeland's attorney is not there, so she can screw with him. And she continues anyway. And as I was reading the statute, the thing is, and I was reading the statute about this particular situation, and I was reading our rules, our ethics rules. Yeah, okay. The rules of conduct for attorneys. And it's clear that if an attorney, there are two things that were happening. She says, one, Melnick told me he wasn't Copeland's lawyer. Copeland had told Miss Hilton that Melnick wasn't representing him. And then rather than Mr. Copeland reaching out to Melnick was apparently in communication with Steele and Shart, and Melnick reaches out to Mr. Copeland and injects himself in these proceedings. Now she's saying he is interfering and that he's running interference on behalf of Brian Steele. And she says, what we were discussing was no way a matter that Melnick was representing Copeland on, and we are not allowed to speak with a person when they are represented by counsel. And that's true. You can't speak with someone when they're represented by counsel. Melnick could not have been representing Copeland on anything we were talking about, because we were talking about this case and this trial. All that aside, we would like an opportunity for the court to address Copeland with Copeland's standing counsel present. Miss Bumpus is looking at me like, yeah, I'd be looking at you like that too. You just accused everybody of fucking around. Like, I'm not going to. Yeah. Imagine that after all that crap. Jim Cox saying, is she the black lawyer with the long hair? No, she's the black lawyer with the short hair. She's the one always up talking. And then Miss Bumpus says, I'm listening. And then Love says, with the standing counsel present to allow Bumpus an opportunity to explain to Copeland everything that was just said. Her concern was, what is the longest he can stay in jail? What I related is the statute says until he purges by testifying. And they're talking about, this is the contempt issue. And they point out that, he could be here to the end of this. He could be here to the end of trial. To the end of trial is the longest. Now, this is where Love starts talking, and she says, no, it's not the longest. Even after a grand jury, if a person had been subpoenaed to testify before the grand jury, and even if the grand jury, convened, has left, that person can stay in contempt until that person can purges himself in contempt by testifying. And she's like, the statute literally says that. Yeah, so there's no way the statute says you can indefinitely be held. That makes no damn sense. And Caleb Bump's like, well, I'm going to have to look at it because my understanding it was done till the end. And, she goes, no, here it is, literally the words of the statute. And the judge is saying he could be in there for a while. Let's just put it that way. And then Bumpus says, I just want to be able to give him. And the judge says, I know. It's the kind of statute. It's kind of the statute says, that you purge, but I can't keep him there indefinitely. I've got to he's got to kind of get him out at some point. And the judge says, with contempt, it's true. The whole thing is you have the keys to your own freedom. And that freedom is that he just gives his testimony, he's purged. So, and here she goes. She says, we know what we believe his testimony to be. We can't talk about it. We don't know what he's going to say. That's why you do a proffer ahead of time. Steve Gosney and I talked about this. You lock down his testimony so he can't go wild like he did in this case. This was just a really stupid planning by Fannie and the gang to handle this. Oh, David's here? Let me see. I'm the greatest Northern Ohio attorney that streams on YouTube. Thanks, David. And Hella, hi. How are you doing? Did we get Clyde a Shunder shirt? I think it's here. It got delivered today or it's on the way. So let's keep going. Let's keep going, though. We got to keep going. And then once again, Adrian Love says our concern is that you intimated that Mr. Melnick probably told him essentially you should testify. They can't do anything with your testimony. But what we overheard being said was they are going to hammer you as if we're going to expose Kenneth Copeland to. And here's the thing. Caleb Bump says, you heard that. So yes, the big issue is how did you hear an attorney-client conversation? Did you eavesdrop? Did you listen to it without any privilege yourself? Now, what part of this did you hear? I'm very curious to know what part she heard. Because there are times where you can destroy attorney-client privilege, but I'm not trusting Adrian Love to tell me the truth. So I want to know when that happened. But she says, yes, the attorney told Copeland they're going to hammer you. And then the judge, just to be fair, I think Bumpus, as an advocate, has got to tell Lil Woody he's going to face some pretty significant cross-examination. And she says, yeah, I think that's what he meant. So they point out there's over 10 attorneys in there. He's going to get shellacked. So they talk about he's going to be having just kind of a different day. And the judge gets to it. And he says, I think that if he's concerned about that, well, it's all in the message and the packaging in terms of, I think Mr. Copeland is a savvy person. But, he certainly is going to be subject to a thorough and sifting cross-examination. And that's true. Brian Steele and the gang are going to go after him, and they are not going to let up. Jeff, hey, how are you doing? Yes, this is not it's already not good. They've already talked way too much more than they should be. I'm not thrilled with this already, but I've heard a lot of this is not much better. And then Jeff and David both sent you guys links. You're going to join. Hold on, guys. Okay. All right. And then Caleb Bumpus says, can I just say something in Attorney Melnick's defense and response, just for the record? And that's fair. This guy's not here, and the prosecutor's taking a crap on him. Now, she points out the reason why he doesn't want to move forward with representation, based on what she's been told, is if Kenneth Copeland decides to testify, he doesn't feel like the attorney doesn't feel like he can know what was said outside of his presence, so he doesn't feel that he can adequately represent Lil Woody or counsel him because he doesn't know what he was told to the state when he wasn't there. And that's fair. If I don't know what you're going to say and you do stuff around my back and you're not there, how am I going to do anything with it? Hold on, chat 1 second. Okay. Woody refusing would be the civil contempt, right? So the max would be 20 days of jail like it was with Steele. Yes, but remember, with the civil contempt, it's always they keep coming back to him saying, will you testify now? Will you testify now? Will you testify now? But remember, Lil Woody ended up testifying and purged it. So this kind of this thing they're talking about here is already done. But remember, Lil Woody said on the stand, he's like, "Yeah, I did all these murders. I lie all the time. I'm lying to you right now. I'll say whatever I gotta say to get out of trouble with the police." So we already know that he lies, and we know that he keeps lying. So Karen says, "Can you be forced to take immunity?" Yes. The state's it's not something you can agree to it. But if the state if you're sitting there at trial on the witness stand and the state walks in and says, "Here's a signing agreement from the state. We promise not to prosecute you." That's it. You can't say, "No, no, no, no. No, I want criminal liability. Nope, I want you to prosecute me. I want that threat hanging over my head." No, you can't do that. You can't. It doesn't work that way. If it's given, that's it. If the state, you don't even need your signature. Like if I'm the prosecutor and you're on the stand, and let's say let's say Jeff is on the stand, Legal Vice is on the stand. Sean Martin, my ability as prosecutor here, with authority granted to me by the actual elected prosecutor and district attorney, hereby grant unto Jeff, also known as Legal Vices, full use and derivative use immunity from anything he may say in testimony in this case at any point in any hearing. Bam. Signed, Sean. And guess what? That's immunity. That's it. That's it. Now, Benjamin, this is something that we're going to get to. Access, can you deliver immunity by a baldo? Well, I mean, maybe like immunity from an STD, maybe, but it's not the kind of immunity we're looking for. And J Rock brings up the big point. There's a big question. The state, for example, the state of Ohio may promise not to prosecute you for a crime, but there's someone else looming over your shoulder. The federal government. Remember, they're dual sovereigns. So they can prosecute you for the same crime that you've been given immunity for at the state level. So that's why immunity agreements, any that's worth anything, will include federal immunity, meaning a U.S. attorney. The U.S. attorney, remember, the ones that get appointed by the president, will have one of his underlings sign on their behalf an immunity deal. We also promise not to prosecute you. And at that point, you are 100% protected. But until you have federal protections, you're on your own. So you get the federal protection, you're on your own. There's nothing that will protect you. And the feds will use all your testimony against you 100%. Wilder's saying, trying to fall back asleep to the dulcet tones of Sean. Well, I try. All right. So here we go. But yes, the attorney for Kenneth Copeland saying he's not there, and that's hard. It's hard to advise somebody when you aren't there doing everything. So this Kayla's pointing out that Copeland's attorney is full of shit. He's not threatening him and don't talk. He's saying if you talk, I can't help you. The Miss Love goes on to say, but the thing is that the only thing he should be concerned about is a criminal exposure, that Kenneth Copeland is criminally, and there's nothing. And see, that's wrong. The only thing he should be concerned about There's multiple things as a defense attorney I'm concerned about. And one of the biggest ones is, can I competently represent my client? If my client's out running around doing crap I have not been privy to, that I haven't heard, like, I'm not going to trust Little Woody to tell me what was said. Like, if you've talked to the prosecutor, and I won't trust the other attorney to tell me either. I'm not going to play telephone and represent you. And so I don't blame the attorney for wanting to bail on that. I don't blame him. Um, I don't blame him. But she says there is nothing. There is literally nothing. According to you, there's literally nothing. That doesn't mean anything. The statute is quite clear that we could do to him about. The only thing that would put him in harm's way is a lie and the refusal to testify after being ordered to do so. And by a lie, we don't mean like, oh, I think you lying. Like, that's what she's saying. I think you lying. It would have to be, something obvious, because we can always impeach. But if he literally perjures himself, that's something different. We can't help that. We can't control that. We would only say, tell the truth. I don't care how bad it is, just tell the truth. And she's about to offer an example of, well, let's say he says, I didn't go down to the police station. And this is the judge now talking. He's saying that maybe you need to, and this is telling Caleb Bumpus, maybe you need to assure Little Woody and say, look, I'm going to be here. And if you think they are asking you a question, being the prosecutor or the defense attorney, that is going to bring out other crimes, he can always stop and say, can I have a chance to talk with my attorney? You always have that right. Even when you're up there as a witness and you're, it's part of an immunity agreement, you can always talk with your attorney. Now, the prosecutor's like, that's right. Caleb Bumpus is like, uh-huh. And she says, see, but that's just it. And now Caleb Bumpus says, no, he's not. And Love again says, hold on, hold on, hold on. That's just it, Judge. The problem is that there's been an assertion the people are representing. And she's trying to say, and I'm not talking about you. There's been an assertion that people are representing his, that their biggest concern is his best interest, and then they are not. They are just not here. Well, the guy's on vacation. Listen to her. She's trying to say, oh, well, this guy, his attorney's not here. Who does he really care about? It's like, bitch, he's on vacation. He's on vacation. Like, how dare you? How dare you to do this to him? Sit there and shit on this man. I mean, she's talking all kinds of shit behind his back. It's great. This is just okay. So this is just awful. Like, I am completely pissed at this. No, hold on one second. This is yeah. Love knew he's on vacation and he had to file for leave in advance. That's the thing. She knew this was like, listen to her. Listen to how much of a piece of shit she is. And guys, I'm really trying not to freak out because we got a long way to go. But this is just fucked up. Like I said, it's getting bad. It's not getting better. Philip is saying, did they put him on the stand at this time knowing his attorney was on vacation? Yeah, pretty much. That's what it looks like. Yes. Yes. It's what it looks like to me. It's what it looks like to me. And I think to everybody else, that's what it looks like. So She says that I'm saying that the agreement between Copeland and Melnick, who I'm standing in for, is that if he chooses to testify, I'm going to get him to sign this paper that says he then discharges Melnick as representative. That's their agreement. And they can have that agreement. Now, Adrian Love says, that sounds weird and funny. That doesn't sound like something in Copeland's best interest. That sounds like somebody protecting somebody else's best interest. If you talk, I ain't going to. I'm not going to represent you. I don't even know what to do with that. Well, what you need to do with that is roll it up and shove it up your ass. Who the fuck are you? You're accusing this attorney of doing sketchy shit and he ain't there. I mean, there are a lot of attorneys at this point who would say, Your Honor, I'd object. There are a lot of attorneys I'd say, who the fuck you think you're talking about? Who the fuck do you think you're talking about? Saying they don't know what's going on. But remember, she's pointing out, he doesn't know what's being said here. They're talking out of school and the attorney's not part of it. So he wants out. And I don't blame him. I would want out too. On something like this, I would probably do that as well. Say, Your Honor, this is not fucking fair. I can't represent a guy if I wasn't there for it. And then here's what Love says. It doesn't matter what was said. It doesn't matter. He didn't ask us. He didn't inquire. What have you all talked about? He's been talking to Brian Steele and Max Start. That's it. He is not talking to us. Well, why is he going to ask you? Because you demonstrate you lie. Because right now you're meeting people and you are leaving the entire defense teams sitting outside and lying to them about what's going on in here. So why does it matter if he doesn't ask you? He could ask you and you fucking lie to him. And in fact, when Mr. Copeland asked to speak with us, Melnick barged in and got between Miss Hilton and Mr. Copeland and literally keeps us from talking to him before he gets called to the stand. And that's troubling. Why is it troubling? Why is it troubling? Because you don't get to do what you want? Is that it? And Caleb Bumpus, and listen to her, she fights back. She's like, well, what I think happened was, and I say this because I previously represented Lil Woody on his other stuff, so I know when this is what I think just happened. I think how Attorney Melnick came involved was his representation of other people because he took my place. Copeland fired me and hired Melnick. And then this came about. I think at the time, at the beginning, Melnick was representing him, and then in his criminal matter, he had, but that's not resolved. Yes. She's pointing out when this case started, Melnick called me and told me he was representing him as a witness. So here's what she says. She says, Melnick has never in life, and then Caleb Bumpus says this was 2 years ago. She says, Melnick didn't, as a matter of fact, less than 2 years ago, when Copeland was sitting in jail for something for someone else he had done, Melnick said, I don't represent him. He told me, I don't represent him. And people were in the room. Which people? He was on speaker. He told me he didn't represent him. Okay, according to you, maybe. Once again, I don't fucking trust you. Now, ultimately, he did come about and represent him, but we were trying to get, I guess, Copeland was saying, he's not my lawyer. I don't have a lawyer. He's not my lawyer. So that's the issue here. They're bitching and moaning, saying, well, when we wanted to talk to him, they were running at 4. And then after a while, he actually did become his attorney. So then what the fuck does this matter? So she says that Copeland recently said Melnick was not his lawyer. Okay. When Copeland was in jail, Melnick told me he wasn't his lawyer. All right. That sounds pretty good. But our understanding was that Melnick was his lawyer for those criminal charges. And so the person that came in and argued at least stood in for him on bond. And then his subsequent plea was Melnick. All right. But I don't know whose interest he would be representing when he's not talking to us about what we've spoken to Copeland about. He could ask us and we would tell him. Are you sure you would tell him? I don't know about that. So I don't know why he would withdraw his representation of him. If his interest is Kenneth Copeland, then why would you pull out? And Judge Glanville has to jump in saying that don't make sense. Yes, why would he pull out at the point where he'd face the most peril if that is his concern? If his concern is, I don't know what they talked about, so I don't know what. And then they go on to talk about the judge saying, well, there was a list of questions for him anyway. They point out he didn't ask to see the questions we were going to ask Lil Woody. He didn't ask for those. And not only that, they've already shared the questions with him. They've already shared it with Mr. Copeland. They've already shared the questions. So they've prepped this witness about as good as it could be. Oh. Now, Caleb Bumpus says, can I read this email that was sent to me? I don't know if it had to help. You understand what he's saying. So she's probably got it on her phone and she's getting ready to read it. Guys, this is all a dumpster fire. This is all a mess already. And the fact it's gotten this far is disgusting. The judge should have stopped this. I mean, we're only on what? Page 14? It should have been stopped like 12 pages ago. So we're already at the point where this is not good. We are already at the point where this is not good. I don't approve of this. Eric, we're going to get through these pretty quick. Anyways, he says Kayla wasn't able to see Kenneth today. He went on Saturday and tried to talk to him before his flight. But Melnick says, I have talked to his family. So at first, Kenneth was going to testify, but now it's decided to take the 5th. He may change his mind on Monday. If he does, then he's agreed to discharge me as his attorney. This isn't out of bad feelings, but I was not present when he met with the DA's office, so I can't really help him with his testimony. And that's true. He can't help him. And then he gave me the discharge. If he decides to testify, then he's to sign this. Now, Love is trying to say it's like you never know what someone's going to ask. And if he's concerned about putting him in legal jeopardy, then he, it would seem like, would remain and allow Copeland access to counsel. But he can't represent him adequately if he doesn't know what he told you. Remember, they met with him privately. How does he know how to advise a man if he doesn't know what was said? Because you have to competently represent your client. And if you can't represent him because you don't know what occurred, that's not a situation where competence is very prevalent. And he's about to walk into an area that puts him in legal jeopardy. And now Kayla says, can't you switch when he gets called? And then they say, see, that's not in his best interest. That's in the defendant's best interest. Well, if you're going around screaming about this guy needs the opportunity to have his counsel, why wouldn't you move it to a point where he's not on vacation anymore? Like, seriously, then it would be to his benefit. Like, what are you saying, woman? This is the most obnoxious gibberish I've ever freaking heard. I mean, this is just awful. She's saying when you say switch and how he gets called, maybe he's saying can't do it because he can't get his refundable ticket. And Love says that's not what he said in that email to you, and that's not what he relayed to the court, and his concerns have nothing to do with. And then the court says he was very much telling me that he was going on vacation. He said, and I said, well, you inserted yourself into this. And I said, really, you need to come on Monday. Ooh, somebody's cranking out the fireworks already. Hold on, chat. All right, guys. Now she says he can't force Kenneth Copeland to discharge him just because he decides to testify. Um, Now this is an issue here because Glanville's saying, "I think you're in this till it's done," and he's saying to Kayla, "You can't withdraw." Um, and the judge says, "Yeah, if he testifies, you're stuck." And Love says, if a person faces criminal contempt, they're entitled to representation if they want it. This being a civil contempt matter, yeah, but you can't just press gang an attorney into this. Kayla Bumpus was meant to show up just for like a little bit, I guarantee you. She was not expecting to be drawn into an ordeal like this. Um, the court says anybody who's facing contempt can get counsel. And she says, I can't stay. How long is this going to take? And Adrienne Love says it could take days. And she says, and see, that's it. And I don't think Bumpus has put, she's put in a precarious position. She's not the one who stood up and injected herself into this. They reached out to her and she did him a favor. Yep. And then they accused Melnick of stalling and attempting to delay and hamper the proceedings. Now she's accusing him of actual misconduct. Like, listen to this. She is just now talking shit. Like a dickhead. And she says, this has nothing to do again at Copeland's exposure if he testifies. Just answer the question, and the statute is very clear. It literally says that no testimony or any evidence required under the court's order or any information directly or indirectly shall be used against the person in any preceding prosecution for a crime or offense. Only at the state level, not the federal level. And then the judge points out he started talking about an unrelated crime. Which, is that going to be covered? Remember, how much immunity is he getting? Because they can ask him about a lot of stuff. You can talk about shit nobody knows. They also say that the judge, that this is not known to a lot of people. He could also invoke his Fifth Amendment right with the advice of counsel if it was some other crime. And Love is saying, but even with that, we wouldn't even prosecute him. And then they say, then about the delay or stall, it isn't true. Caleb Bump is saying, fuck you guys for talking about this attorney that way. That he had to leave since filed December, yeah. He's like, I'm going to be out of town in July. And the judge is like, nope, you got to be here. And I applaud him for saying, fuck you, I'm going on vacation, because that's bullshit here. That is bullshit here. It's Trenton says, don't overlook the judge admitting to everyone facing contempt as the right to counsel when he denied that to Steele. Oh, well, even worse, when it's a criminal contempt, due process kicks in and you have to hold a hearing in a formal way. More formal in civil contempt. So, and they're saying we have nothing to do with any of that. He injected himself into this. He stepped in. And the judge is saying, unless you filed that leave into my case, you don't have a leave for this case, which is fucking awful. You're forcing this woman to stay. This is such garbage. They do point out he's been a witness and his name's been on the witness list forever. He has been. So, And she says, and Caleb finally says, Judge, you're going to make me stay if you choose to testify. And the judge says, I am, because you're his lawyer. You're his stand-in lawyer at this point. And she's going to say, Your Honor, I have a problem with that. It's just I'm not ready. And then once again, Miss Love, the prosecutor, goes, if. And the judge says, There's nothing you feel ready about. Here's the thing. I think the only thing you've got to kind of ask him about is, look, here's the questions the state is going to ask you. I mean, but how is that fair? She doesn't know a goddamn thing about his case. What is she really going to know? What is she really going to tell them? That's a big problem here, guys. That's a massive, massive, massive problem. What can she really do with this? Yeah, imagine going through her head like this. That's a shame says, why did you file appearance on a case your client is a party to? How does the court have jurisdiction over that representation? Remember, he's a witness. So the court has jurisdiction over him, and she is covering, she's filling in for a friend. Melnick was meant to be there. And he couldn't be there. So Bumpus had to come in and cover for him. So that's why she's there. Bumpus was on the lead attorney yesterday. Yeah, I saw that. I watched a little bit of that, or I listened to a little bit of it today. It's interesting. And the judge says, is there anything else? And when she's talking to Copeland, is there anything else they could hurt you with? And she's saying, trying to tell him, like, look, you got to talk to him. And now he's saying the reason you want to know what's going to hurt you is the defendants know more about Kenneth Copeland than anybody else. So they're probably going to be crazy about it. But so far they haven't. And Kayla says, what about if I say I can't do it? She's like, look, what if I say I can't do it? Then Melnick needs to come back, right? She's like, am I going to be in trouble? Because I was only for Monday. That's what I was told. I was given specifics. Yeah, this is kind of a big problem. Like, whoever the attorney is has to get the fuck back. This is bad. It's already starting to disintegrate. Now, they're pointing out that he can say, can he say he doesn't want Melnick? Yeah. He can say whatever he wants. It's his choice. Yep, I agree. But then Kayla points out, but the judge is saying I can't leave. They point out that he can represent himself, and you can, pro se, in this setting. A little weird, but okay. And they say that we have done everything to clear him of judicial exposure, meaning give him immunity. There's nothing he could say, he could lie, that puts him in, peril. But he can't talk about a crime that we would then prosecute for. And then she says, we can't use his testimony to go find evidence to prosecute him for the stuff he talks about. Well, there's use and derivative use. So yes, if they're giving him complete immunity, that would be protected. I can snooze on the fly and grasp what is happening. Yes. Yes. They're saying basically he's literally shielded. Remember, he's only shielded at the state level, not federally. That's a big problem. And Bumpus says, I would have to agree to you that's a concern, but I don't think it's a concern. She's saying that with Copeland, you said you don't think that his concern is criminal exposure, or do you think that's what he's worried about? The thing is, we don't know what he's worried about. The judge says, do you think he's fearful for his own personal safety? And she says, yep. And that's what was already told in a previous email. And this is where Adrian Love says, we ain't going to kill him. Well, that's mighty white of you to not want to kill him. And then Caleb Bumpus says, I don't know anything about that email. And the prosecutor says, we ain't going to kill him. I can show you the email, but we're not going to kill Kenneth Copeland. And, say, who is he talking about? That's what he's trying to do. And it's just, you have to be careful. That's what they're saying. The judge is saying there are collateral, secondary, and tertiary effects. There are. The judge says first he has to give testimony, though. He says, that's what he has to do. He's got to give the testimony, whatever it is, good, bad, or indifferent. And that is very critical. That is very critical. Young is saying, what's the deal with the video between Bumpus and Steele outside the courtroom? The judge is allowed to get that. What is the judge doing with that? Oh, I think he's trying to figure out. He's doing his mole hunt. He's doing his mole hunt still. He's trying to figure out who did what. Miku's headphones say his best friend was killed in his home this weekend. The state did try to kill him. Well, yes, we won't kill him, but the guys on the street will. That's the thing. Prosecutor's like, I'm not going to kill him, but all those guys with Dracos, yeah, they're going to take care of business. Watch it. Protect your neck, son. Oh. So, oh my God. We'll get to that one dad joke in a minute. Oh. Now this is Kenneth Copeland's not here yet. And they say they haven't brought him over. And he was supposed to be the first one up. So I guess they went to go get him. They might be over here with him now. They say, I don't know, we'll go look for him. We would just like to go to another courtroom and talk to him and give you a chance to talk to him and then give you an opportunity to explain to him. And the judge has already gotten up, so the court reporter says we're off the record. So then you see these captions like it's like you're reading a play. Judge Glanville and Mr. Chamberlain entered chambers at 9:34 a.m. And then Adrian Love says Simone Hilton has been communicating with Lil Woody. I'd like to grab her from downstairs and have him come up. When was she communicating with him? Because is that like ex parte on its own too? Talking to a representing party? That's not good. Judge says, where is Lil Woody? And they said they brought him up to the tank at 9. And that means in those courtrooms, behind the courtrooms, there are holding cells. And in some places, they have big old holding cells like bullpens or fish tanks or whatever you want to call them. I've heard them called both. The judge says, can we bring him up? But they say your chamber's being used and your courtroom's being used. So the judge says, yeah, you know what? We'll bring him in here. They say, let's bring him in here. Okay, we'll just bring him in here. So he gets to come into the judge's chambers, which would not be in a million years normally. Even seeing the inside of the chambers is going to be rare for a defendant. So we talk about it. And this is over an hour later. Copeland enters the chambers at 10:03 a.m. Also present were the judge, the ADAs, Caleb Bumpus, the court reporter, and the investigators. And then a couple of deputies, Deputy Houston and Deputy McPherson. They also point there was a Sergeant Brown and a Sergeant Hall with the sheriff's office. So these last four are the prison guards and the jail guards. So those guys are separate. And then Copeland says, can you let him know I got a hearing problem? So the judge says, I wanted to bring you over and let you talk with your attorney and see if there's anything you need to ask of your counsel or the prosecutor or the state of the court before we bring you out this morning. They said they would like to hear your testimony and where are you at this point? And then Cope, is there anything you want to tell us? And Copeland goes, well, I want to speak to you personally that I've never been truthful a day in my life until I just made this statement right now. I don't comprehend none of this stuff going on. Right there, chat. Boom. This is Brady. This is Brady material. This is Brady. It's Brady v. Maryland material. He's admitting he's never told the truth, that he always lies. That's huge. That's huge. No deputy dogs. Nope, no deputy dogs. So, guys, Brady is Brady v. Maryland. And Brady v. Maryland is a Supreme Court case where the state has an obligation to turn over anything that could be exculpatory or lead to the exculpatory nature of a case that a defendant is in. Um, you know, it's significant evidence, and the star witness. Remember, this is like their big witness coming in and saying, "Look, I lie all the time, guys. Y'all can't trust me. Y'all can't trust me." It's very important. It's very, 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 very important. And as much as I want to say Wikipedia is not a good source, this does do a very good breakdown of Brady v. Maryland, guys. So, the prosecution must turn over any exculpatory evidence. So that's where we are with this. It's not Brady Bunch. No, chat. Oh, boo. And this is where the prosecutor says, Mr. Copeland, we've talked about this. I'm not sure what your concerns are or what you expressed to the attorney last week. She says, if any of your concerns with Dealer being locked up for anything, you can't. Like, there's nothing that can happen. And she says, the feds, she mean the federal government. And Kayla Bumpa says, well, that's not true. And she says, it is true. And Bumpa says, no, I said that's not his concern. And Hilton says, if his concern is his safety, we need to know that. Like, that's not expressed, so we don't know what the concern is, and we can try to resolve the concern. Well, the big thing also is, guys, remember, his immunity deal does not include federal protection. So that is a problem. That is entirely a problem. And the prosecutor is saying, Mr. Copeland and I have had conversations before. I understand some of his concerns are criminal liability, potentially criminal liability. There we go, chat. Hence why we gave you immunity. The federal statute of limitations is done. The state statute of limitations is done. How sure are you about the federal statute of limitations? Because now if he gets yanked up, this is not good. Hold on here. Wait. I heard a garbage truck outside. How do you know what the statute of limitations are? There's a lot of federal laws that have different statute of limitations attached to them. So, and she says, so there's nothing. Like, I researched it this weekend. Both those statute of limitations for what you and I talked about, which is in 2015 or before, done. You cannot be prosecuted for anything you testify federally or statewide. Immune, period. How do you know that? How do you know federally or statewide you have given him immunity? There is no proof of that. And they say, so what if the concern, so if that is a concern, there's none because you can't be prosecuted. According to you, and that's not reliable. Because if Lil Woody ends up getting prosecuted somewhere, he would have a defense. Will that defense amount to anything? Probably not. So I will blame him for wanting to say to these people, well, make sure my shit's good. Come on now. We got to make sure it's good to go. Oh, it's a train I'm hearing. Jeez. Sorry, Chad. I got the window open. I was wondering what the hell I heard very quietly. So saying anything in 2015, 5 years would have been in 2020. Anything statewide is 4 years. That'd have been 2019. Finished. It's like, how do you know? How do you know that? I'm not trusting like these rum dums in Fulton County. These guys, I ain't trusting them at all. There's no way in hell I would trust these people. I my former years, God, I walked right. Fuck. I walked. Damn it. Yes. Brittany says murder is 5 years. Murder is forever. And yes, if he hasn't been assigned federal immunity, then there is no immunity. Just trusting it. So I just don't get it. The next concern, what may happen in the street? You know what we have talked about and what we can do as far as living and all of that. We've had those conversations. Notice that's their answer. Well, we talked about what'll happen out in the street, and it's like, look, live, laugh, love. Every second counts. You know, life's not about the. Life's not about the. Oh, how does that go? Life's not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about dancing in the rain. Um, or it's what's the other one? Yeah, life's not about breathing. Yeah, it's not life. Life isn't about the breaths you take. Listen, little Woody. Life, it's not about the breaths you take, but it's about how many moments take your breath away. That's what really matters. So when you're laying on the ground with a fucking gunshot wound, it's gonna take your breath away. You could be like, "Ah, I've arrived." You know, as the gang circles around you, all you could do is just look at them and say, "Come, susser tot, tot, come, sweet death, come, sweet death." It's like, Lil Woody, have you heard of Evangelion? I think you should watch it. That Draco leaves you breathless. Yes. Yes. Is it a cop kneeling on your neck takes your breath away? Yeah. That gasp is a sucking chest wound. Yes. Trump once said, why did the court allow Woody to continue answering questions after he started his Fifth Amendment right? Because he withdrew it and he decided to talk because of this hearing, and we're going to get to that. Basically, they extorted him. But Adrian Hilton saying, so I'm trying to express to you, we don't want you locked up. I don't know how many times I've got to tell that to you. What I've got to say to you, we do not want you sitting in DeKalb or wherever they got you at because of this. I know you wanted to talk to me on Friday before you walked in the court. We weren't able to talk. But if you still want to talk with or without Miss Bumpus, I'm here. But we do not want you in custody. She says, though, this order says you are immune from prosecution, any of it. Literally, and she says, Judge, you might want to close your ears. If you confess to a murder on the stand, If we don't have any other independent evidence outside of what you say on the stand, you are immune from prosecution for what you say in court. If you confess to a murder on the stand, you are immune from prosecution in court. Think about how fucking desperate they are that they want Lil Woody testifying, that they're like, look, we'll let you say whatever you want, make shit up. This is fucking insane. Hubbleson says, Judge, you might want to close your ears. Yes, should be a mistrial. Well, that was more of like them trying to be a joke. Yeah, as long as they don't have any other evidence. Except for the fact, like, an admission is the biggest amount of evidence. You've literally admitted to doing it. You said, hey, look, I did it. Hey, I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it. No, we're not going to prosecute that. Every other time, you know how many times they've prosecuted murders where it's like, I did it, and then they put the guy in fucking prison. I mean, really. Trenton says that's use immunity versus transactional immunity, which they couldn't do at all. I understand that. I'm just telling you, this is how fucking desperate they are. They're willing to let him admit to a murder not related to anything. Because Copeland is believed to have killed people. But he could have clipped someone in something that mattered somewhere else. Take me so we can make him mute to COVID. I mean, just listen to this. Yes, I hit him. Yes, he can take up Karen Reed. He can take up Karen Reed's rap. Sweet Tooth Fairy saying why? They want to get this guy. They want to get the YSL gang that badly. I think so. They're also just fucking idiots, but they want to get these guys this fucking badly. You know, that's how bad they want him. That's how bad they want him. Did YSL donate to Trump or something? Yeah, I don't know. How many lives have YSL taken? We don't really know. Because so far the case has been so shitty, it's not clear what they did. YSL stands for Young Stoner Life or Young Slime Life. You know, Yussie, you know, you slutty loots. I don't know. Yeah, Young Slime Life is what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I think they really want him that bad. I don't know. Target fixation? I mean, that's a big problem with these people. So hold on here. Hold on. Okay. So she's saying, I don't know what was communicated to you on Friday, but what the state has assured you, which I have assured you in our private conversations with Mr. Long, as I'm saying in front of Miss Bumpus, as I told you, this is what this order says. And then the judge says, that's also on direct or cross-examination. And then the judge is saying, so if you're worried about the defendants may ask you because they know your business, because Lil Woody's part of their gang. But they ask you about things you might think you might have some liability for. The judge is saying you can't be prosecuted for any of those. Now, him explaining that part, let's say we're in the courtroom in front of everybody, that actually would not be improper for him to do. He could say, look, do you understand what immunity means? He could explain that. That wouldn't be improper. Him doing it in the back is the fucking problem. Copeland says, he's like, I got family members watching this trial, and I don't want my nephew and them to hear the things I may be involved in, and I think it's okay. Okay, that's actually not a bad problem. Don't keep shame. And the prosecutor saying, but Simone Hilton saying, but I don't think that's a separate conversation you can have with them as an honest individual. Like, look, nephews, this is your Uncle Woody. I done lived the life that I don't want you to live. Don't go through what I've been through. But that's something you could have outside of being in jail, because that's a better conversation you could have with your nephews in person. They shouldn't have to come down to the DeKalb County Jail because you're being held in contempt. You can have that conversation with your nephews tomorrow in person. You can have that conversation with them. You can have that conversation with anybody. You know what's coming up this weekend? Why are we in jail? What are we doing? And then Copeland says, but you guys all did this intentionally. And Hilton says, no, we did not. You and I had this conversation Friday morning. And Copeland says, you knew my child's birthday party was next week. That's fucked. They knew. They know. They know they're screwing with him. And she says, but what I tell you, when we met with each other, I said to you, you asked me what is the one thing that's going to get me in jail. Did you ask me that? And what was my response? If you plead the fifth. Just listen how fucked up this sounds. But what did I tell you before I got to that point? I told you the whole time, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I told you we're giving immunity. He's like, but I told you I was pleading the fifth. She's like, no, you didn't. He's like, I told you every day I was pleading the fifth. He's like, I told you my concerns. And she said, we could give you immunity. And you said your concern is about what they know. And when you said that, I said, well, you know stuff about them. And then I said, whatever your concerns are, we can give you immunity. He's like, and then this is another Brady issue here, guys. So I didn't tell you I lied on them to get myself out of the situation. And then Hilton says, you said you were a liar. That's what you said. You said you were a liar. And then Caleb Bumpus asked a great question. Was this recorded? The state is conferring and meeting with somebody. Was this recorded? Were there any notes memorializing this? No. Were there any summaries? No. Any video? No. Any audio? No. And then Caleb brings up a great question. Did he ever say Melnick was his attorney? Because on Friday, he would have been that guy's attorney. When they met with him, though, they said, is Melnick your attorney? And he said, no, he's not my attorney. I haven't even talked to him. To be fair, if he says he's not my attorney, that's a good enough answer. Like, well, we tried. And and Copeland says, I never said he's not my attorney. I said I haven't talked to him. But now that's not recorded, we don't know. We don't know. How many lives do YSL taken? I don't know. It's not a ton. Legal Vice says this is a bad script for a shit cop on a court show. Yeah. No, it does. That's kind of where we are. EDW Raptor says, fine. Half the night. Well, we'll go a little bit into the night, chat. Unhung Hero for $2 says, what's Clyde's YSL nickname? I don't know. B Husker's been a member for 1 month, says, these nuts. Stabby's been a member for 13 months. Thanks for the support, Stabby. Says, I heard you're the most pro-cop blogger on YouTube. Well, yes, I've heard that title as well. Down Forward Punch says, it doesn't matter. Or you could say it like The Rock. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Automata saying, there's nothing for you to be ready about, equally shady as fuck. Yes. Base is saying for $5, as far as I know, this judge is consistently late to court. This transcript, I shudder at the thought of what he does before waddling to the bench. And Charlie saying, more cocaine, Sean. Yes, I'm good though. Lucky Robot says, sup playa. PSA, never party with an ex. Partay with an ex. It can only dredge up contempt and it's boring sex. Well, thank you. Fair Frozen 55 is saying base Draco problem solver. Full auto 545 every day. Well, Dracos are mainly 762, I thought. Yes, my foam ears are strong. Yes, thank you. The Cat Not Williams gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Cat. And Dark Horse Productions is now a member. Thank you. Thanks for the support. And then the Buzz CJC is saying mumble rap is a crime. Well, that's something I think we can all agree on. So let's keep going here. Yes, Devel is saying, are you taking notes of a criminal conspiracy? Pretty much. Pretty much. Online Red saying, all of this is Hilton trying to cover her ass by recounting conversations as she wishes they were. Remember how you said you didn't have an attorney? Remember that? Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. It's just like Tombstone. It's like, oh, mister, do I look scared? It's like, goddamn right, you're scared. Hilton saying, you said he's not your attorney. You haven't talked to him. And then we continue to have a conversation. At no point did you ever say to us, hey, I want Mr. Melnick here. Hey, put Mr. Melnick on the phone. And notice if they had recorded this, there would be proof. Copeland says, you didn't make me feel like I needed him. And then Hilton says, but if you needed him, we would have said, if you would have needed Mr. Melnick, we would have said, okay, just call him. Notice, like, she says that, but she also said up here, he said he didn't have him, but she's acknowledging he's there. Like, uh-oh. I mean, that's an uh-oh moment, chat. She's now acknowledging he was there. This is absolute bullshit. Captain Crumble says, but isn't an argument being Mirandized? It seems so moot. Well, technically, yes. At any point they're talking to him, they should Mirandize them just to cover their ass. So, this is absolute. This is just absolute garbage, chat. She's saying, so I mean that is our position. We don't want you in jail. We just want you to be able to purge yourself by testifying. Whatever your truth is what your truth is. But you've just got to answer the questions. Whatever your truth is what your truth is. We're going to do that again, chat. Whatever your truth is what your truth is. But you've just got to answer the questions. We went all the way from just tell the truth to, well, I mean, truth is kind of subjective, so you get it. You get after it, King. She says more. We believe that whatever your truth is what your truth is. She says it again. We know what you said before. I don't know what you're going to say on the stand. But what we know is pleading the fifth is going to keep you in custody. That's what I know. Now, your questions is how you answer your questions. She says, I know what you said before, and I know what you said later. I mean, I know what you said before, and I don't know what you were going to say in the stand because you and I never went into full details about any of it. Yeah, I'm sure you did right here when you did that whole little change up. You do know all of it. But what I don't want is you to be sitting here in custody. Copeland says you did it. Um, and she says, I did not. You did it by pleading the fifth. He says, you told me before you went to the judge for that thing called you went to him with, you told me that when I'm asked a question, I can say, I don't recall or I don't know. You told me that I plead the fifth. Why would I plead the fifth to something I ain't do? And I said, you know what? I said, you know what I did and what I ain't do. And then you was like something. And then y'all asked for this immunity. And I was like, it was something. And then Friday or Thursday came and y'all go tell me, oh, we went to the judge with this, so you got to testify. If you don't, the judge is going to lock you up. And he says, that's why they got immunity. He says, why would I plead the fifth to something I didn't do? And I said, you don't know what happened. And then Hilton says, all Copeland did says, what if I do this? What if I do this? What if I do this? And Copeland says, I told you, I said I'm going to plead the fifth. And then Caleb Bumpus jumps in and saying, if you didn't have the immunity prior to, is that what you were saying? You felt like you didn't have prior immunity? He's like, the immunity came Friday right after I went to jail. And Hilton says the immunity only came after Melnick. And Bumpus saying, hold on here. The immunity came after Melnick sent us an email saying my client is pleading the fifth. That was on Thursday evening at 6. Hold on. Wait. Whoa. What? Chat. Uh-oh. Someone's in trouble. Chat. Someone's in trouble. Miss Hilton. Simone Hilton. ADA Simone Hilton. The immunity came after Melnick sent us an email saying, my client is pleading the fifth. That was on Thursday evening at 6. That was Thursday evening at 6. You said you didn't know what he was going to do before he did it. You said you knew what he wasn't going to do before he did it. Okay, that's one. Then you said we didn't know Melnick was his attorney. Boop. So did you have permission from Melnick to talk to this guy unrepresented? I think we know the answer to that. No, you didn't. So you broke the rules of ethics by speaking to a represented party. Bow! Those are two massive problems now. Not only have you broken the rules of that, you have lied to the court. You'll violate your duty of candor. This is a big nope, chat. Nope. This is... What the fuck? She literally got caught lying. This is literally a lie. This whole thing right here is literally a big old fucking lie. A multi-part lie. Like, really? I just fuck me running. Fuck me running. Fuck me running, chat. This is just garbage. Oh. Seriously. And so after that, that was an emphatic. He is pleading the fifth. So you already knew what was going to happen. And then came Friday morning. So you knew what was happening. So between Friday evening, Melnick reached out to us and said he represent him. Says he's pleading the fifth. And when was the last time you talked to him before Melnick got involved? We talked to him earlier that day on Thursday. And they say, oh, so we've been talking since last Friday. So I met Mr. Copeland last Friday, I think, out in the neighborhood. Remember, Lil Woody's not in custody before the Friday, for the weekend. He was out in the world. Then he came on Tuesday for court. We talked briefly on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday he came. So they point out that on Thursday, once we left, is when Melnick reached out to us and said, my client is pleading the fifth. And at that point is when we went the next morning and got the immunity motion. And then they say, when we spoke Friday morning, I handled Mr. Copeland's agreement and let him know that he has immunity and anything he says we can't use. And then Melnick came and we had court. And Bumpa says, you're pretty much saying you didn't ask for this. Copeland's saying I didn't. And Hilton says, but we gave it. He doesn't have to ask for it. And that's true. Once again, guys, you don't have to receive immunity. It's given to you. It's forced upon you. Prosecutors grabs you from behind, just goes, you're immune now. Just immune, just right in there. Although, depending on what your T cells look like, you might not be too immune for long. Oh boy. Oh boy, chat. Oh boy. So, just something to think about, chat. Oh. Okay. Charlie, I saw your tweet there. Thank you. But how are people not in trouble for this? Hilton keeps going, though. He doesn't have to ask for it, but to alleviate whatever concerns where we gave him immunity. Okay. And then they point out, and they're discussing this, well, what could he do? Well, if he didn't have immunity, yeah, he could plead the fifth. And they're trying to say, look, he doesn't think he can get immunity. But they're pointing out he doesn't have to ask for it. Now that we've given it to him, that's on him. So now I have given it to him, it's an order. He can still choose. If this is the road he wants to take, then he'll stay in custody until the trial is over. And now here's the thing, until the trial is over. And when we say the trial is over, every last defendant, not just these 6, and currently that's Young Thug and his buddies, but the other ones too. Copeland's like, I done longer time. You don't scare me. And Hilton says, I'm telling you that you're literally immune from prosecution from anything else you might say. She's literally saying, you could do whatever you want, say whatever you want. You're immune. And he says, so the choice is always up to you, but we wanted to put on the record, the state does not want you in custody. The state would like you to purge yourself. Then he says, what does purge yourself mean? Like, take your fingers, shove them down your throat. And they say, meaning that you're no longer in custody. And they point out this is kind of how it happens. This is what the state wants you to do. We don't want you in custody. I can't say that any other different way, but we don't want you in custody. The only thing that's holding you is refusing to testify. And the judge is saying if you have any questions, if you invoke your fifth, and Copeland says, I don't trust, I don't know what's going on. That's a fair answer. I don't trust nobody. Yep. I trust her word, but I don't know what's going on. And Hilton says, this is your insurance. And they say, can you break it down for him? And Caleb Bumpus says, he doesn't want to talk to me about that. And the judge points out that if they didn't give you immunity, you could invoke your Fifth Amendment right. But you've been given immunity saying no matter what happens, we're not going to get mad at you. Well, it's hard for people to wrap their head around that. But what the state has decided, they said your testimony is worth more to them at this point in time. And they really, really want to know what you have to say. Yep. They truly think it's that valuable. So. And the judge says if they gave you immunity, you have to testify. Okay. And he's saying, so if you testify, you got out of custody and you stay out of custody until you are done. And because it's this type of case, he's not, you're in a different setup right now. And he says, if I don't testify, what's going to happen then? And the judge says until the trial is over. And tell all the defendants that I've got these 6, and then there's another 6. And Simone Hilton says, no, there's 12. There's another 12. Which I don't think he can legally do that. Hold them indefinitely. That'd be a massive problem. That would be a massive problem. So, and the court says there's another 12 guys in the 12 guys in the YSL gang. And then Copeland says, can I speak to my attorney? Because he's in custody, notice what happened. The judge, the ADAs, the court reporter, the investigators, and all the prosecution and the court deputies all left. They gave them 16 minutes of free time. The judge walked out of his own chambers. But notice, 10:17 to 10:33. The defense has been sitting in the courtroom for a minimum of an hour and a half, more likely 2 hours at that point. And they still don't know where anybody's at. They're all just sitting around. And then he says he wants to ask the court a question. And he says, if you ask me a question, you feel I was lying about it, would you lock me back up? And Hilton says, no. So you're saying you say, I didn't talk to Dame Kean. Well, no, I can't talk about that because the judge isn't here. You're asking, for example, if you said before the sky was blue and I asked you on the stand, what color is the sky? And you said it was red. I'm going to say, no, back before you said it was blue. Is that what you're trying to ask? And yeah, that's an issue there. He's saying if he says he did something and he's not telling the truth, what happens? So if he commits perjury and you know it, you know what happens. Well, they point out as if he said something and he did not do that thing, or whether or not you believe him. And they say that no, if he admits to doing something on the stand and he did not do that thing, I'm going to say, is this the first time you are saying that? And they point out that if you have independent evidence, what do you mean? And she says, what do you mean? They're saying, so then it'll be fine. And she says, no, I want him to tell the truth. What have I always said to you? I want you to tell the truth. No, you told him to tell his truth. Your truth is what your truth is. That's what she just said earlier. She just said you can tell your truth. You know, your truth is not the truth. Your truth is never the truth. The truth. You know, if you say something that's inconsistent, I'm going to ask you about the inconsistencies. You know, she says, I want you to tell the truth. But I'll deal with you saying something different in the manner I normally handle the issue. And Copeland says, if I'm saying something different, right? So when the police question me, they didn't question me every time they locked me up. He's like, I don't know how many times that was. I done told them whatever different story I could think of so I could try to finesse my way out of the situation. I don't recall what I done told them. And Hilton says, okay. So you can say, I don't recall. That's how it works. I don't recall. And Caleb Bumpets asks, what if he says that's to every question? That's a good point. Like, he could say it to every question. What if he does? What if he does, chat? And you know, they'd say, I hope that is not the truth, because I think there are some things you do recall and some things you don't. But the things you don't recall, you don't. And I'll go through and she's saying, and this is a fair point, she'll just deal with what she deals with. You could talk about them what impeachment is. That won't get you locked up. Impeachment will not get you locked up. And Copeland says, well, what will get me locked up? And Hilton says, well, what did I tell you? And Copeland says, I don't know. And it's like, what you did on Friday? If I plead the fifth. Now, here's the thing. This is a massive Brady issue here again. So the only thing that gets me locked up is pleading the fifth. I'd argue this is a Giglio issue too. This witness has been given like incentive to testify. The only thing that gets you in trouble is not testifying. Basically, they're saying there's nothing you can do to get in trouble. That is a massive problem to tell a witness that. You could do whatever you want. You can make shit up. It's like they would never admit to that, but that's what they're admitting to. They basically told Lil Woody, you could just make shit up and nothing's gonna happen. That's insane. And they're saying this in a court. They're saying this in chambers in front of a judge, and the judge is like, "What?" He's like, "I'm okay with this." He's okay with these guys doing that. What the hell is going on in this courthouse? You know, if you plead the fifth, that's what's going to get you locked up. But if you answer the question, that will not get you locked up. Man, what the hell is this? Which thug do you believe in this trial? Oh my God, this is a mess. This is a mess, chat. Cedar Rose says, how much of this debacle is Lil Woody being smooth brained? Actually, Lil Woody's pretty slick. Lil Woody's a pretty conniving guy. So no, he's not the one who's smooth brained. Simone Hilton and the two ADAs in this case are smooth brained as fuck. They are morons. J-Rock says, we used to have a proper county with goons. Now we have thugs. Yeah. Yes, and he outsmarted the judge and the prosecutor. Yep. Him just being fucking sussy about everything. And these guys are throwing away their law licenses for it. Woody's 100% playing the game. Oh, of course he is. Of course he is. He's a smart guy. He's smart enough. And then he says, if you want me in jail, why don't you just let me go after the trial? They say you're in jail because you're not answering the questions. Like, I get you're saying he's under immunity if he doesn't testify. That just looks so bad in transcript form. You're in jail because you won't answer the questions. You won't answer them. So we put you in jail because we are the bodies. Yeah. Uh, he's like, well, what about this? I answer the questions, you take away immunity. I answer the questions and plead the fifth. And Hilton says no. And I agree, that's not going to happen. But then he says, I promise to only plead the fifth on things that incriminate me. But the judge says the state can still give immunity to you or whoever they want. You know, if they want your testimony, they figure it's worth the good, bad, or indifferent that they'll hear. You know, and Hilton's telling you to tell the truth. Yeah. You know, and the judge, this is the judge now, guys. He says, what will get you in trouble is you not just invoking your Fifth Amendment right privilege because you've been given immunity. You know, or as Miss Love said this morning, remember, if you lie, if you overtly lie about something, like if you tell a bold-faced whopper, then they can indict you on that particular one. I mean, yeah, they say so, but Copeland says, but that's not what they're going to do. Um, but they point out, if you say something you know you did not do, and he's like murder don't have like no statute of limitations, right? And they're saying, but if you didn't do it, I can't charge you with something you didn't do because I don't have any other evidence of you saying it. Well, this is the thing. Like, if he knows where there's, you know, it's almost where it's like, well, go find a body. And I could say, look, I know a lot. You know, I think that's so, this is suborning perjury, chat. This is what suborning surgery is. Suborning perjury is. Yes. A Clyde based economy. Buy a Clyde for your hat. Yeah. Chat demands a 1-to-1 model of Clyde's head. Like a 3D printed one as a locals gift, or you just want a shirt or something with his head on it? Oh. Um, you know, and Bumpus brings up a great point. You could charge him with false statements and he'll be back in jail. And Hilton says, but if I know that you're lying about that, I do not intend to do it. If I know right now he's lying, I know he's lying. I'm not going to charge you because I don't know your reason for doing that. But I'm not going to charge you when I know you didn't do what you're trying to say you did. And that can be part of this. I know you didn't do it. He's saying, but it's up to the judge to do that. And they're pointing out, no, it's up to the state to bring charges. And for some reason, Lil Woody is acting like a spaz, and I get where he's trying to go with this, but ow, ow. It's so interesting what, like, this shit they're literally talking about so in depth. He's like, can I talk to my family and make my decision right after I hang up the phone? Um, and he's saying, and Bumpus is right. Like, I've been in jail. My family doesn't let me do anything. His sister just called, and Copeland says, y'all done me wrong. Y'all just hold me in the jail. He didn't get a PIN number or nothing. He hasn't been able to speak to anyone. They talk about the jail system down, y'all still putting people in. Then Hilton says, I don't know about that. And she says, I know we have communicated with your sister. Your sister actually texts texted Miss Linksicott and to make sure you're okay. We told her we physically had laid eyes on you. Um, so they keep going here. They keep going here. And they're arguing about this. And he says, look, he's like, look what you did to me. You wait till Friday for this. And I told you every day before Friday I was pleading the fifth. And Hilton says, no, you don't. But see, that's the thing. He's trying to point out these guys are fucking scumbags. And then the judge, being a scumbag sweeper, janning up all that scumbaggery, says, let's see if we can get beyond this, okay? Beyond what your concern is. Which you could have invoked the Fifth Amendment privilege. The state could have turned around and said, stop. Had me go ahead and file that motion and given you immunity. It was going to. They might make that decision. They decided to make it on Friday. So even if you've been more comfortable testifying and invoking your Fifth Amendment right, they want your testimony more than you invoking your Fifth Amendment. So they give you immunity. Yeah, there's something they truly want. So that's why you get this. They gave you immunity, so you got to testify. And yeah, that's true. Truthfully is what your knowledge is a particular incident. Hold on one second, chat. Oh, why did sorry, I had my thing turned off, sir. Sorry, hold on. All right. YouTube AI is not touching this chat. That's funny. Yes. So let's go here. They keep going. Why did this? No, let's scroll back up. And the judge brings up a point. Even if they put you on a stand, they could have said, stop, gone ahead and given you immunity. They could have done that. Yep. Copeland says, and this is great. So can I get some type of writing that if I was to testify, that if she feels I lied about something, they won't lock me up? And the judge says to Miss Bumpus, let me have that. And the judge starts reading them on page 2 of the order. However, no testimony given by Kenneth Copeland as required in this order, or any information directly or indirectly derived from the testimony, shall be used against said Kenneth Copeland in any proceeding or prosecution for a crime or offense concerning which he testifies under this order. Now, remember, guys, there are times where they can find whatever they find on you or your house or somewhere else and prosecute you. But right now, this guy's got nothing. And they say, the judge is saying, so you testify about some aggravated assault or murder. They can't prosecute you on it because that's what it says on the order. And he says, the only thing that will get you in trouble is this next little paragraph. Kenneth Copeland shall be subject to prosecution or penalty of forfeiture for any perjury, false swearing, or contempt committed in testifying. Except they promise not to prosecute him for perjury. So what do we do with that? I mean, that's a big issue. So what do you do with that? Because they actually said they would do that. The judge is saying, so basically you commit perjury. That means if you just invoke your Fifth Amendment privilege, I know some of you are saying, well, it's a right, not a privilege. It's like, either way. Or failing to testify, you say, I'm not going to testify. So the only real two things you kind of get in trouble for are perjury and false swearing. As long as you tell the truth, well, that's not true. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. So Miss Hilton gets Simone Hilton gets back up though, and she says, "We're saying two different things. Perjury is you get on the stand, you just say a bold-faced lie. Something is wrong. Say you say I did something, and all the other times you said I have not done it. And really, while it's perjury, it's really just an inconsistent statement." Okay, so she's going to allow him. So which is Nick Rekieta said I could commit perjury. Yeah, Nick Rekieta said I commit perjury. Now he could say yes, I did X, and then later he could say I never did X. They said they're going to impeach you on everything, but they're not gonna cause her an issue. You know, we will impeach you, but we're not gonna charge you. And this is insane. This is insane, chat. This is insane. I can't believe SB Seller's saying so if he slips some random race and murders him, would that do anything? Yeah, no. I think it would. I think he'd probably get away with it. I really think he would. Now somebody comes in, one of the court security says we have a security issue. We need to stop for a minute. Okay, so they step out. And Hilton says, I don't know what was told to you on Friday. I have no reason to want you in prison. You have spent enough time in prison for YSL, and he's done time. I said it to you all before, and I will say it to you all again. She's like, it makes no sense. And then Copeland says, you just said I'm going to have to stay in jail. She says, if you don't testify. Get this part through your head. If you don't testify. He's just fucking with them now, I think. That is the only thing holding you. That is literally the only thing holding you right now is the fact you keep saying, I'm not going to testify. If you get up there and I don't want to tell you the truth, like I said before, if you don't recall certain things, you could say you don't recall. That's fine. I want you to tell the truth. It's like, but I do expect for you is to answer questions so we can get through this. So you can go home. You could be with your baby for her birthday. See these dogs deliver their babies. Go talk to your nephews and do all these other things. And they say they're starting to stress. He's like, I'm stressing on another level. Like, well, yeah, I'm sure you are. And they just keep saying our position is we don't want him in custody. We want him to tell the truth. And then Kayla says if he decides to testify in 2 weeks, then what? And then Hilton says if he wants to stay in jail for 2 weeks, well, I don't know why you would want to stay in jail for 2 weeks. I have no idea. Well, I get it. I get it. So he keeps on going. He keeps on saying, so like, why am I in jail? And I say, because you aren't testifying. But that ain't nothing wrong. It's not a crime. Hilton says it's not a crime, but you're in civil contempt. And the judge says two things. Because you invoked your privilege after you've been given immunity, that's why you're in custody. So I just... And the judge saying that's what I was going to bring you, or why I brought you early today, just to inquire about that so you understand. You know, you can remain in your position, but I'll keep sending you back to jail. Copeland says, but you can't sentence me. Well, there's no sentence, but the contempt is compliance, and he can give you part of a sentence. He can shape a sanction. And he's like, He's like, I don't know why I'm here. And they're like, you're in jail for failing to testify. Um, you're not for nothing else. There's no crime. You ain't done nothing. You know, I don't know if I know about that, but okay, okay. How the hell do you know that? I don't know if people are telling you we're going to charge you with nothing. We're not charging you. The state charged you. There's nothing we're charging with you. The only person, because you have decided not to testify. That's it. So the judge just says you can purge right now. Get yourself out of jail by testifying. The judge says yes, just by testifying. The prosecutor has to pipe in. Don't perjure yourself. Oh, this is just it's. Now he starts talking about perjury, and Hilton says, "What you're saying is not perjury. What you are saying is what we call a prior inconsistent statement." Yes, and that is a hearsay exception. So yes, they're using a prior inconsistent statement. Um, and they get down to here, and they say, and this is Kayla talking to him, so you got to make a decision. And she says, so if he starts testifying today, he's going home. And they say he should, so long as he remains testifying. They're like, but if you get up there and you get it to start pleading the fifth, we're going to be back here again. But they're going to let him go home. They're going to let him go home. Okay, so he's like all down. He'll do whatever. It's now as long as he answers the questions, that's fine. And then Copeland says, I did these crimes. I'm telling you that. And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they find out, they're like, did he find out if he could talk to his family? And I'm sure nobody got on top of that. Um, Blogging's honest living. Yeah. So many double negatives. Yes. Um, and they point out, it's like, we'll let you talk to your sister. And then Copeland saying, as my attorney, you gotta. It's like, well, she hasn't got to do nothing. And they were gone from that point. They must have talked a lot. They must have talked a lot. So they reconvened at 11:30. And they asked, do you have any more questions? And he's like, nope. Is it your desire to give testimony? And they're like, all right. And they say, they're looking for clothes for him and they don't have any. So and they go through his measurements. We really don't need to go through any of this stuff. This is just nonsense here. Okay. And they point out that he says, you ain't gonna try to lock me back up. And they say, so long as you testify, we'll get an order to get you released. Which that is a massive Brady issue. As long as you start talking, we're going to let you out. Well, I'm not going to plead the fifth. Okay, fine. As long as you're doing something, you get money. It's like, all right, all right. Now they're getting through all of this and they're getting ready to go back out. And they're like, are we off the record now? Judges, are we done? Yep, we're done. And they stopped at 11:30. They get out there. This is a certificate saying this was done properly. So it was done properly. Ching. And you've got this woman telling him, you can say whatever you want to say. Tell your own truth. Your truth is your truth. Listen to a prosecutor telling that someone. Your truth is your truth. I would never, ever, 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 ever. I mean, guys, this is bad. This is like you'd use this as a law school like final. Because there are multiple issues here. There are multiple issues. You know, meeting with parties without an attorney, candor to the courts, treating other attorneys with respect. Like there are a lot of big fucking issues here. But was it really done properly? Well, no, it's not. And J Rock, yeah, you're right. Like I said, it does sound like you're supporting perjury. I think that's a big deal. I mean, that is. I hope there's an investigation because that was a shit time. When is Glanville getting disciplined? Not for a while. Not for a while. It's gonna take him a long time. It's gonna take a long time, guys. But it shouldn't. This whole thing is fucking crazy. And the judge just sat there and let them do that. The judge just sat there and let these people suborn perjury. And by suborning it, like soliciting it, by saying, look, just talk, but tell the truth, but just talk. Oh. So yeah. And then we'll bring up here, hold on. We'll do this here. All right, here. Where is this thing? Because there is. Let's see here. There's the Judge Glanville thing. I'm gonna find this because he does. Yeah. In further news, this is what happened on Monday because we didn't get to it yet. Okay.
In order, as a.
Now listen to this. This is a man who's been like buck broken.
Then transitioning to the last matter the court wanted to put on record. Upon further review, this court will in fact enter an order sending Mr. Adams and Steele, Mr. Weinstein, and Mr. Banks' motion to recuse to another judge pursuant to Uniform Superior Court Rules 25.1 through 25.7 in the method and manner prescribed by our local rules. So this written order is entered. I will enter the order transferring it. And until such time as those two things are decided, then we'll be in recess until that time. And we will just inform our jurors that they're until they're not supposed to come back on Monday until Monday anyway. So I will have Deputy Ingram and Ms. Umana indicate to them that they are still on recess and we're continuing to work.
So everything's on hold. Everything now is on hold. They spent the last week going through all the Lil Woody interviews. But now everything's on hold, chat. Everything has been placed on hold because Judge Glanville finally wised up and is doing things the way he's supposed to. Which, about fucking time, man. God damn. Took you long enough, dude. Took you long enough. Can he just retire and avoid reprimand? Nope. They can still reprimand him. This isn't like a police job where you get to run away like a little girl. Yes, his whole demeanor took a 180. He's a man who has had some stuff spoken to him. He's had some stuff spoken to him.
Then
let's see if there's let me see here. See if there's any other videos. Nope. That's it.
The motion to recuse may be heard.
Oh.
Don't know. That has to go.
Now this is funny. This is funny. State's all like, but how long is this gonna take? He's like, I don't fucking know.
Your Honor, do we have a timeline of when the motion to recuse may be heard?
Don't know. That has to go to another. That has to go to another judge pursuant to our local rules. So it will be basically put on the wheel. Of course, I don't have anything to do with that. So as soon as our clerk, Madam Clerk, Miss Alexander, and her team spin that, that's not within my.
This is ADA Hilton right here. This is Simone Hilton. She's the one who was talking to Kenneth Copeland and said, you could basically say whatever you want and you're not in trouble. Make up shit if you want. We're not going to prosecute you.
My information and purview.
Your Honor, do we have a...
So that's what's going to happen there. Isn't that great, chat? Isn't that great? Oh. No apologizing from... Oh, you ain't getting an apology. The fact he did that is him apologizing. Judges don't apologize generally. That's something judges are kind of allergic to. Now, good judges, honest judges will apologize. But a lot of judges are loath to apologize, man. They would rather, a lot of things they'd rather do before they apologize. A lot of things they would do rather before they'd apologize. Just that's just the nature of it. That is the nature of it. So is DA Love actually a moron? Yes, she is. DA Love, yes. Well, she's assistant district attorney. She's not the district attorney. Afix saying, you see what at Just Stacy said Woody is still stuck in jail now for an indefinite period until it's resolved? No, because I thought he was out. Why is he in jail right now? Why the fuck would he be in jail? He'd already been released previously. Charlie says, you apologize to judges. Judges don't apologize to you. A lot of times, yes, but a good judge will. So, yeah, guys, this thing is... I mean, it's so wrong in so many ways. It's not like to scream about it. This is like really bad. Like, this is shit people should be losing their tickets. Like, law licenses should be at risk here. Even the district attorney's team, they should all be facing reprimands and sanctions. But here's the problem. This, when the judge is in on it, there's nobody there to control it. So it gets out of control. Like, the judge is supposed to be there to stop it. But when he jumps in, this is why it's a problem. Well, that's what I thought. Woody isn't in jail. Good. I just wanted to make sure. J-Rock says, I know most of the district attorneys and the judge on this case. Something about these cases broke them. Yeah, I get that. But you know what? Then you got to deal with it. That's, and Cat Williams saying, and Woody already testified, there's no rewind. Yep. But they're going to be showing his, from what I understand, they're showing his interviews to make up for where he was like, oh, I don't know what happened. They're using him that way. Pro Chat says, don't hire Larry Speaks in double negatives. Yeah, well, that's... There's a lot of other issues there. Oh. Kimbo's saying, Judge Glanville only makes $78,000 a year. No wonder he doesn't give a shit. There's no way. So he's making good money, guys. He's making good money. Hell, judges here in Ohio make like 120 grand minimum. So he's doing fine. I don't see him not making any money. Yes, Rudy Giuliani was disbarred by the state of New York today, which not a surprise. That was probably going to be happening. More lawfare on the way. Speed running a mistrial. Yeah, we're already there. Oh yeah, this was a mistrial when they started it, but as they start talking and the judge lets them start talking, oof, it's a mistrial like 55 times over. Fire Knight says he's a brigadier general in the Army Reserves. Yep. And Charlie says if the probate judge in the county next door makes $250K in a different county, there's no way he only makes 78. Yeah. Now here's how it works. You get paid by your county, and then the state might pay. Like there might be two parts of the pay come together. I don't know. Here in Ohio, that's kind of how it works. He made 139K in 2023. Okay, that makes sense. He's 139,000 if he's doing teaching, gets paid for that, and then the Army pays him too. And someone asked a question earlier: if the defense team was allowed in, would this have been okay? Yes. If the defense team was there, this would have been fine. Now, like, there wouldn't have been any issues. Like, I don't think the prosecutors would have made the same kind of statements. Like, oh, it's okay if you lie. But yes, if the defense team had been there, there wouldn't have been any problems. That's all they wanted to know. All the defense said is we have a right to be there. So, Joe Lloyd says, can you fire him? No, I can't fire him. Nicholas says, if they were all there, would that be an in parte? Well, that would just be a hearing. But yes, I guess technically that would be it. So, yeah, if defense would have been there, we would not have had this entertainment. And that's the thing. Defense would have been there. None of this would have ever been said. We never would have known about it. So that's the difference there. So now let's see. We got some super chats to get to here. EDW Raptor gifted 5 subs. Thank you. Tracy Fagan saying, I don't like that an immunity agreement just wipes out my rights. Well, I mean, I get that, but the right against self-incrimination, remember, your rights are never absolute. There's always limits. But it makes sense here. Well, I'm worried about the right to incriminate myself. We promise we won't prosecute you. Well, now the state has tied its hands behind its back. So now you're screwed. It's like, okay, well, there's no risk of incrimination anymore. Kat, not Williams, who's been a member for 3 months, says, Sean, pull up the Friday, June 7th hearing and watch the lies in court from Love and Hilton. I'll have to go look for that. I don't know where. Let me see here. Like, is there a specific time frame, like a timestamp on Law and Crime? Because I could check for that, but I don't know where to go just on Twitter. And also, hold on, Clyde. Click clack, click clack. Everybody, hi. Whoa, hi, Bubba. Hi, Bubber. Hello. And the cat is underneath hacking up a hairball. Chewy. Oh, geez. There's like a cat tree behind the computer here in the corner, and she's probably going to hack and yak all over it. Sweet Tooth Fairy says, Clyde of Proof of Life, please. We love Clyde. Well, there you go. Hey, Proof of Life. Proof of Life. Smell check on Clyde. Okay. Nope, he smells okay. He just smells like a dog. Hi, buddy. Oh, hi, Papa. You're being a good boy. You're looking very regal up here. Some guy with cancer is saying, I hear flushing. That must be the judges and DA's careers going down the drain. As much as I think that's the case, might just be the toilet in your house because I don't think they're gonna get flushed. I'd love to say they get disciplined, but I don't see that happening either. Just because. Jay Wolfenstein says, hi, blogger man. Well, hi. And then Corey Boatwright for 50 memberships. Oh, that didn't impress you, Clyde? No, let's go. Come on. Ooh. He goes, ooh. That's it? That's all we get out of you? Huh? Huh? It's okay, buddy. It's okay. That's all we get, I guess. But Corey, thank you for stepping up. Thank you. Corey Boatwright. Better boating wrong, because that means you'd sink. Thank you, Corey. You the man. You the man. Purging us of these grays. Just getting rid of them. Remember, grays, this is a green neighborhood. Keep moving. Keep walking. And then EDW Raptor gifted 5 more subs. Thank you. Thank you. EDW Raptor wanted to smell check. Well, there you go. Yeah, he's good. Yep, he actually smells really good right now because you haven't been rolling in a pee. You're being a good boy. And Unlung Hero says, Clyde, who's your favorite blogging foamer? Oh, buddy. Hi. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh. What? Do you want to flop over? Get your belly rubbed? Do you want down? Huh? Do you want down? Boop, boop. There we go. All right, buddy. Yeah, I think you want to go back and hang out with 2.0. Yeah. He's going to go lay down. I woke him up out of his sleep. Then Squizgar says, imagine being gray and not joining or 41%ing. Cringe. Yes. J-Rock says, this is the Sunset County Grays. Yes, it's a sundown chat. You best keep moving. Oh, yes, he wanted to flash YouTube. Yes. SB Seller says, it's the Blues we need to worry about, not the Grays. Yes. Oh. If Trump wins, do you pledge to join the Space Force? What do they need with a fat guy like me? So no, I don't know how I'd help. I don't know how I'd help. That's a big thing here. Okay. Ag says the Blues is not June. I can produce the methane, yeah. All right, guys. So we are all caught up. I am astounded by this, and I can only imagine that Brian Steele, Doug Weinstein, and all the attorneys of all this are going to just launch scathing attacks on the state. I can help establish a second Grange point. Okay. I'll be the tether for the space elevator. But what this will allow, chat, is the defense to put just absolute scorchers of motions together. And I'm sure they're already working on these. And they are just going to drop the fucking hammer on the court and the district attorneys, and it's going to be hilarious to read and hilarious to watch. And then it will be interesting to see what the Judge Glanville recusals look like. Corey says, I just popped in and now I have to watch the whole thing from the beginning. Yeah, well, there you go. I thought you were going to say scanning of plates to the disciplinary council. Well, I mean, there's that bar issue where, if you know of wrongdoing, you have to report it. They might do that anyway. I could see these guys after the way this has gone saying, fuck it, I'm gonna report it. I'd understand that. Johan Noxos is saying Alyssa just posted a best of Touchy Criminal Volume 2. I was dying laughing. Hilarious. And our out of context Sean is the best Sean. Can we hit the goal? Well, not tonight. Steele already filed a scorcher. Yes, he did, but this is gonna get even better. They are really gonna light things up from here. Did I see Brian Steele's motion to present a defense? No, I did not. I'll have to figure out how to get a hold of that. Sweet Tooth saying, when Proctor fired, will they ever be able to effectively prosecute Karen again? Well, what the state would do is you could still subpoena him. And I'll be like, well, where do you work now? I work at McDonald's. I work at like the septic tank company. Okay. It's like, where'd you work before? Oh, I was a cop. So that's not really a problem. Luke says, I think it's in your Discord. All right, here, let's see. Let's see here. So I don't see it here. So yeah, I think we're all set though, chat. I think we are all caught up. Oh, what's this here? So colostomy bags, remember 6 months. Thank you. Saying, heard I don't like Dracos. They're okay. They're okay. I'm more of a crink. I'm a crink guy myself. Oh, so guys, that is well, I mean, random killer, he's saying it's for safety. Even if it was for safety, you could protect them a million different ways if it was really necessary. Very quickly, you'd find out that your funding's very cheap if you're not an important person. So Joe Loy says, love to you and love your lovely lady. Thank you. Take care, and it's been fun, but not for Lil Woody. Yes. Yes. And then, guys, I will tell you for tomorrow, 2.0 are probably going to be out and about enjoying her vacation. But tomorrow night at 8 p.m., I will be on Publicly Buzzed. I'll leave a link in locals and put one up here on YouTube. And I'll be joining Bob Mata from Defense Diaries. And I'm looking forward to this because I haven't had the chance to be on with Bob. And I think him and Allie are an awesome team. I love their show. We're going to be able to hang out. And we're going to talk about Sarah Boone and what's going to happen for her. So it should be fun. It'll be a great, great time. Thugger Daily has the motion. Oh, okay. Well, hold on here. If the motion's there, I'll take a look at it real quick. What do we got? God, my beard is itchy today. Itchy, itchy, itchy. Oh, there is Kat's actually sent me a link about the immunity things here. Okay, we can watch these two real quick. This thing actually fucking loads. Okay, here we go. So we're actually gonna do this here. Kat sent this. The Sarah Boondoggle. Okay. So this is Adrian Love. This is Assistant Prosecutor Love. This is Love, and this is Hilton. So there we go.
With him, someone who is supposed to be representing his best interests. What we have seen is communication, both verbal and nonverbal, between Mr. Copeland's supposed counsel and counsel for defendants. And a look as if I tried from Mr. Copeland's supposed counsel in the direction of counsel for the defendants after Mr. Melnick attempted to assert for Mr. Copeland. May I finish?
Let her finish, Mr. Melnick. Please sit down. I'll let you start. Okay? All right. Thank you, sir.
While Mr. Copeland is on the stand stating that he wants to testify, that he will testify rather. So we are watching, and Mr. Melnick, I believe it may even be captured on film. The court can look at it. Mr. Melnick turns to the direction of counsel for the defendants and motions like, that's it. Then, upon information and belief, as we are standing out waiting for the jury to come in, Mr. Copeland requests to speak with counsel for the state, but Mr. Melnick keeps walking in. Then, as
Does he at any
Mr.
point in time tell you?
Copeland,
Does he at any point in time tell you I'm not going to testify? I'm invoke the Fifth Amendment.
no. As what happens, as Mr. Copeland requested to speak with the state, Mr. Melnick keeps going in regardless of Mr. Copeland's request to speak with the state. And then we learn that Mr. Melnick tells Mr. Copeland they are going to hammer you. So Ms. Hilton comes back in
Which
and
is
asks
true.
me, had I spoken with Mr.
And now this is what they're talking about all this.
Melnick? Had I told him that we are going to hammer Mr. Copeland, the state had not made any such communication with anybody. So what we are seeing, we believe, is tampering with witnesses. This particular witness on the part of...
It's funny, they're worried about witness tampering, and it's like, I can think of some crimes some other people are doing. Fuck off.
People who are not the state. So we are concerned. I don't know that Mr. Copeland's interest is being represented when that interest may not be in alignment with the people that Mr. Melnick is communicating with on breaks. And after Mr. Copeland has communicated to this court, he will testify. So watching the goings on as Mr. Copeland is not on the stand.
So we know that's a lie. That's all a lie. We know that's all a lie. We know that's 100% a lie.
Welcome back. The time is 2:20:35, I should say. Did you have an opportunity to talk with your client?
I did.
All right. Who is going to be here on Monday?
Kayla Bumpus,
Kayla Bumpus.
Bumpus.
Okay. All right.
And I can state, as Mr. Copeland's attorney of record, told him, asked him, are you sure this is what you want to do? And he said, yes, he intends to assert his Fifth Amendment privilege again on Monday.
Okay. Well, I will, if you would tell Ms. Bumpus she needs to be here at 8:30, and we will certainly take up with that knowledge before we call our jury, and I will ask him in her presence whether or not he intends to do that, and we'll see where we go from there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. All right. Sir, enjoy your time off. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
So there we go. That kind of lays a little bit of background for us there, chat. And then let's see, Young Thugger. Oh, Thugger Daily. I don't find the order. No. Okay, I'm just. Yeah, guys, I don't see the motion to present a defense thing here, so we'll worry about that later, chat. We'll worry about it later. What day is this? Thursday before that fateful Monday? Yeah. No. What is that June 7th was the Friday. June 7th was the Friday where he started saying he's out. And then yeah. You DM'd it to me. Okay, well that helps. Oh, it's 114 pages. Holy shit. God damn. Yeah, we'll oof. 114 pages, chat. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Damn. We'll do that a different day. How many subs to go all night? Not enough. Not enough, chat. I think it's mostly exhibit list when we get a taste. Yeah, but we'll work on that. Most of that just transcripts and stuff. Well, I wish I could get there's no copy of it. There's no link to so, I mean, I wish I could find the copy of it that's all not tore up and jerked around here. We're going all night. No, we're not. All right. We are all done, chat. Thank you for being here. 442 people. Yeah. Guys, remember, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., I will be joining Jeff on Legal Vices to cover just very briefly kind of how everything's gone in the Karen Reed trial and where we're looking to go forward. And then, like I said, tomorrow night at 8 p.m., I'll be with Publicly Buzzed and Bob Mata from Defense Diaries talking about good old Karen Reed. And notice the Rumble sign on Sean's shelf. Does he share a studio with Nick? No. This is from Real Patriots Party. And this is a Rumble goal for 100,000 oopsie poopsies, 100,000 mutes, and 100,000 screw ups. So that's my 100,000 trophy. So there we go. You guys are heading off to bed. Yeah, it's a faux one. But yes, that was yeah, the motion's only 7 pages, I know, but I'm not going to mess with the Twitter screenshots of it. That's a pain in the ass. Yes. 100,000 boomer moments. Yes. 100,000 mutings. Yep. It's a weird dildo. It's got grip and texture. So, all right, chat. That is it. Thank you for everybody here tonight. If you were here on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all the views. If you guys did enjoy this, please like. If you guys haven't subscribed, please do that. And we will see you next time. And remember, even though Judge Glanville did it, he's actually kind of guilty. So, yeah, this is not looking good, Judge. This is not looking good. Not good at all. So, I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody. I'll make sure to post links for you.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy that
Don't tell
came in
everyone.
that? Why, yes, it was.